Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we're going to learn how to crochet step by step this simple crop top. Now I've made it simple because we can use it as a base and you can adjust on it any stitch that you prefer, especially as a border around. Okay, now I have a chart in the beginning. We're going to see how to use the chart, but first we're going to see the materials that we're going to use, then the chart, and then we're going to see how to start. The yarn that I'm going to use is Alize Cotton Gold, which is a 55% cotton and 45% acrylic lightweight yarn. And this is a yarn that's suitable for all 4 seasons, especially for spring and summer. And I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. Now, before we start, I want to explain the chart that we have in the beginning of the video and how we're going to use it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the neck. That's why I have the measurements of the width of the neck. And I'm going to work downwards by working increases in every single row to form a trapezoid. So this is how my crop top is going to look like. And then I'm going to add straps on the one side, on the other to tie on the back, and strap here and here to tie on the neck. So I have the measurements for the width of the neck for every age. And I'm crocheting for 8 years old. For this age, the total width of the neck is 10 centimeters. Now, I want my beginning chain to be 4 centimeters more than the width of the neck, okay? So I want the total length of my beginning chain to be 14 centimeters. And down here, the second measurement that I have is the chest perimeter, the chest circumference, which for this age is 68 centimeters. But this is the circumference, it's the chest all around, right? So because I want the crop top to go from the one side to the other of the chest, I only want half of that measurement. So I'm going to divide that by 2, and I have 34 centimeters. So I'm going to start with a chain of 14 centimeters, and I'm going to keep working increases in every row up until my top reaches the 34 centimeter from the one corner to the other. What I also want is for from the top to the bottom to cover the whole chest. So make sure when you reach the width that you need that the crop top covers the whole chest of the person that we're crocheting it for. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. And I've already started with my chain. So as I mentioned, I'm crocheting for an 8-year-old, and I want my beginning chain to be 14 centimeters. I have my 14 centimeters and they are a total of 24 chains. So let's go ahead and start, and we're going to start by crocheting from the 4th chain from the hook. So count 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook and work your first single crochet. So by doing this, the first 3 chains are my first single crochet, and the double crochet that I worked in the 4th chain are my second double crochet. Okay, next chain, 3, next one, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and my last stitch 22. So every time that we work the first row with double crochet, I'm going to have 2 less stitches than I had in my beginning chain. So I started with a chain of 24 and I end row 1 with a total of 22 double crochet. So now I'm going to start row number 2 and I'm going to start my increases, and this is how you're going to start every single row up until you finish. We're going to start by chaining 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to turn my work. So those 4 chains count as 1 double crochet the first 3, and the 4th chain counts as a chain 1 space, which is my increase. This chain 1 space is going to be the extra stitch that I'm going to be working in every row in the beginning and in the end. That's going to give me my increases. So I'm going to start by crocheting from the 2nd stitch, because I have the 3 chains. The first double crochet is the one that belongs to this one, and the chain 1 my increase. So start by crocheting in the 2nd double crochet, 1 double crochet in every stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep working 1 double crochet up until you have 20 stitches, and the 20th stitch is going to be the 2nd before the last stitch of the row. I've worked my 20 stitches. Okay, and now I'm left with the last stitch for this row, which is the chain 3 that I turned the previous row in row number 1. Make sure you do not miss out of that stitch, because that is a double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to finish my row with an increase, the same increase that I worked in the beginning. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet in the last stitch, which is the 3rd chain, counting from the bottom to the top. Okay, and work 1 double crochet. So this was the end of row number 2. Now we're going to start row number 3 again by chaining 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn your work. So those 4 chains again count as 1 double crochet and a chain 1 space, and I'm going to start working my double crochet from here, from the chain 1 space. So put your hook under the chain space and work your first double crochet, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4, and I'm going to keep crocheting up until I have 22 double crochet. The 22nd double crochet, which is under the chain 1 space, I'm going to turn my video and we're going to start from there together. I've worked up until the 21st stitch, and the 22nd we're going to work together. Put your hook under the chain 1 space, 22, and now we're going to finish by working the increase. Chain 1, count the 3rd chain from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and work the last double crochet for this row. So I'm only counting the stitches between the increases, and I had 22 in this row. So I'm going to start again row number 4 by chaining 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and as I mentioned earlier, we start and we finish the rows in the same exact way. So I chained 4, and I'm going to work my first double crochet under the chain 1 space, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, next one, 4, and since I had 22 stitches in the previous row between the increases, in this row I'm going to have a total of 24 stitches between the increases. So I've worked up until the 23rd stitch, and the last stitch is the 24th under the chain 1 space, and I'm going to finish my row by working the increase. Chain 1 and count from the bottom 1, 2, 3 chains and work the last double crochet for this row. Okay, so this is how our work looks like so far. See how the trapezoid has started to form by working the increases. Now we're going to work the 5th and last row together, and then we're going to finish the rest of it off camera. Again, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn your work. Work your first double crochet under the chain 1 space, 1, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, and since in the previous row I had 24 double crochet between my increases, in this row I'm going to have a total of 26. I've worked up until my 25th stitch. The 26th is under the chain 1 space, and now finish the row by working the increase, chain 1, and 1 double crochet in the last stitch for this row. Okay, so this is how my crop top looks so far. So keep working increases in every single row up until you reach the total width that you need. Once I reach my 34 centimeters, I'm going to turn my video back on and see how to continue from there on. I've completed crocheting my top, and what I really wanted to do is to use this top as a base, and then you can adjust any design that you prefer. You can add the shell stitch around, you can do anything that you like. Even if you leave it like this, plain as it is, it looks very beautiful. So down here, the width, as I mentioned before I turned the video off, is I wanted it to be 34 centimeters, and I have exactly my 34 centimeters. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create the straps so we can tie our top up here on the top and here in the back. Okay, so I'm going to start working chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to continue crocheting. If you recall, in the beginning I mentioned that this chest circumference is 68. This is why the front piece we want it to be 34. So in order to have long enough straps to tie a bow and for the straps to hang a little bit in the back, we want it to be about 30 centimeters each piece up here. So I'm going to keep crocheting chains up until the chains down here measure about 30 centimeters. I've completed working my chains and have a total of 54 chains. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to work single crochet on top of each chain stitch. And since I have a total of 54 chains in row, once I finish the row up here up until the first chain that I've made, I'm going to have a total of 53 single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to skip the first chain, starting from the second one. 1, next one. 2, next chain. 3, next chain. 4, and keep crocheting up until you have 53 single crochet. I've completed crocheting my 53 single crochet. Now put your hook right here in the space where we have the double crochet. Put your hook right in here and work your slip stitch. Chain 1, cut the yarn, pull the loop, and tighten up. Okay, so our first strap is ready. Now go ahead and on the other side, attach the yarn right here in the third chain counting from the bottom. Work your 54 chains, then 53 single crochet, and once I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on and we're going to see how to work the straps for the top part. I've completed both of the bottom straps. I've weaved in my end as well in the back loops of the double crochet that I've worked in the last row. And now we're going to create the straps up here in the top. I'm going to attach my yarn up here in the chain stitch of the first double crochet. So grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, chain 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep crocheting up until your chain measures 20 centimeters. I've completed my chain. It's at 20 centimeters and a total of 38 chains. Okay, so now again, I'm going to skip the first chain, put your hook in the second one, and work your first single crochet. Next chain, 2, next chain, 3, next one, 4, next one, 5, and keep crocheting up until the end where we're going to have a total of 37 single crochet. I've completed crocheting my 34 single crochet. Now I'm going to put my hook. See how we attached our yarn in the chain of the first double crochet, and I'm going to put my hook in the chain stitch of the second double crochet. I'm going to work a slip stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn, pull the loop, and tighten up. So the first strap up here on the top is completed. Now in the same exact way, attach the yarn right here. And if you recall, in the first row that we created after the our beginning chain, we left 3 chains and worked our first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So counting from the top to the bottom, put your hook on that 3rd chain, okay? And from here, start your 38 chains, work your 37 single crochet, and once you're finished, put your hook in the chain stitch of the second double crochet over here and work your slip stitch, chain 1, and your second strap is going to be ready. So once I finish my second strap, weaving my ends, I'm going to turn my video back on and see how our crop top looks completed. And this is how our crop top looks completed. I've weaved in my ends all on one side of the crop top. This way, the side that I've weaved in my ends is the back side, the wrong side of the top. Okay, and this is how it looks completed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again. Bye bye.